Good morning, my Teaserking family. How are you today? I am fine. So I have the over in the game last night, and I see 5 interceptions, two in each end zone. So what can you do? You're throwing interceptions at the 2 yard line when you should be running the ball. That's why you can't throw. There's no end zone, right? Especially with Steve Young. What an idiot. Just a second. I can't believe how many times I burned my Peter bread. So I put it on for 2 or 3 minutes. I start into something and then I forget. Next thing you know, I kind of smelled the burnt and I still eat it, but it's crazy. Anyway, so you get all the interceptions, and this is why you lose games, that you can't predict they're going to throw 4 or 5 interceptions. I mean, Purdy had 3, Steve Young had 2, a fumble, what can you do? There's, I know he's going to throw 3 and it's going to go under. So it was an over game. I mean, they had the ball at the goal line twice with turnovers. So you were right. They got down there. You would just assume so it should have been 27-23, which is a 50. We're over 41 or 42. Well, that's what happens. It's crazy. All right, gold today. It got up to 41.50. Oh, wait, 10 o'clock. So it goes down, and now it's back to 41.33. It happened at 4 o'clock and at 10 o'clock. So what happens there? Why are these derivatives allowed to go when obviously there's no physical selling being done? Silver back up to 51.03. So again, it's this 10 o'clock bullshit, and then it goes down so they can buy it cheap. This is what you must understand about COMEX. It's a game to get the price lower so they can buy it. Now, I don't buy for a minute. It's the dollar going down. It's not gold going up. It's the dollar going down. That could be the stupidest thing I've ever heard from Alligator, who's now an economist. Yeah, he grew to an economist. He was a banker. Now he's an economist. What kind of economic economist are you, Alligator? An idiot, probably. So that's what's happening. So how can this be the dollar going down, not gold going up? I mean, it really makes zero sense. 41.36. All right, we'll get back to 41.50. On our way to 4,300. I don't know why it was kept down so long. I think they're trying to get out of their positions. So keep in mind, this is a game. This is not reality. This is the Twilight Zone, right? People are shorting it to get the pound for their options. And this has nothing to do with physical gold and silver, as I say over and over and over again. Because I want you to understand, and most people don't, they see this price of gold at 41.37 and thinking that's the real price of gold. It's not. This is the paper option price, not the physical price. But we can take advantage by buying physical silver at only 51.08 and physical gold at only 41.37 when it's 10 times higher. If you can understand that, you're way ahead of the game, and we understand that. So that's really it. And if you just sell an ounce or two, there's no tax on it. You're really exchanging your money. You're exchanging gold back for dollars. So what you've done is, Rumpelstiltskin, you've traded this for gold. Why would you pay tax on it? So if I buy euros and then euros goes up and I sell my euros, I owe tax on it? I don't think so. So if I do this and I buy gold, it's a trade. It's just a trade. And then if I turn and sell the gold for this, it's a trade. I didn't make any money. I mean, this is not an investment. This is a sure thing. So that's where we stand right now. Now, I remember listening to Mark McGuire. I'll try to find it for you. He said November 24th was a key date where they had to settle all their physical. I don't know if that happened yesterday. I doubt it. But it does explain gold going up $100 because it was 40.40. Now it's 41.40. Still extremely undervalued. Silver is incredibly undervalued at 51. Physical silver should be 1,000 by now. And again, there's high demand. BRICS countries buying the shit out of it. And, forget the industrial things. This is money. We don't care about Tomahawk missiles. We don't care about any of that, of batteries or about the solar panels. We don't care. Silver's money, gold's money. That's their primary purpose. And if you use it for that, how about copper? How about nickel? The other metals, you can use those. You don't need silver per se, but you can't keep the price of silver down so you can make Tomahawk missiles. And that's just fantasy talk. Reality is it's what the market will bear. And if you've run out of silver, and you are buying, if you run out of silver, so what do they do when they run out? They're not going to make Tomahawk missiles, or you're going to exchange it for a different metal like nickel or platinum or palladium or whatever. That's what you do. So this is the point here. You're playing around with paper options, which have no bearing on the real physical price, because you have more paper gold and silver than there are physical gold and silver available. So if you have 100 ounces of gold available and they're selling 10,000, well, wait a minute, you only have 100 to have. Where are you getting the other 10,000? And that's the problem with COMEX. It's all fake fantasy made off. So don't get caught too much into this. China is trying to prepare a physical market, a physical exchange. Singapore, Hong Kong, St. Petersburg, UAE, I think Brazil, they'll have actual physical, which I think they already do. So when they buy the oil from Saudi Arabia, they take the yuan and they switch it and they say, give me gold for it. And they put it in their safe. And that's what's happening. So the U.S. is just too slow. They're too ignorant. They're too stubborn to understand what gold really is. They don't have the people in place who understand it. You got George Soros running it, who says, you know what? I'm going to bet you go out like I did in England. And that's what he's doing. And his decisions are about him, and you're fucking the country over. And the idiots in charge are Scott Simpson, who works for Soros. So he's going to let everything go. It's unbelievable. All right. So that's our wonderful gold and silver. Just keep buying, keep stacking. All right. So let's start looking at football for this week. I went to the grocery store this morning. It's raining out. I couldn't really do my walk. I could have with an umbrella, but I figured I'll walk around the store. And I'll tell you, it was packed. This was about 9:45, 9:30. I went to Myers, and it was packed. Unbelievable. I mean, there was like 5 carts left. It just shows you, because there's a lot of carts they usually have, and you don't worry about it at 10 o'clock. So I don't know in this economy, but people are able to go out and buy food. They had plenty of food. There's no shortages. I looked to buy stuffing for Thanksgiving, but I started reading the directions and I just lost it. Like, no, I don't think so. So I ignored that. Anyway, that's what's going on with that. So I got my pumpkin pie today, and just for Thanksgiving. It's not in my normal diet, but okay. And then got a roast I'm going to have instead of turkey, and then a lot of veggies, sweet potato, and some pop. I don't really drink much. I don't. You see, my Canadian club's never open, so we got football to watch Thanksgiving. So let's go through college. So we got 2 games today, and we'll go through the Thursday, Friday games, and then we'll go to pro. We got 3 games on Thursday. So we got Bowling Green, UMass. We got our wonderful Z Team UMass, who we could be here with 11 guys. Bowling Green is minus 14, 44 to UMass. Bowling Green's a W team with a 25 defense. UMass is a Z team. I think they're just glad to end the season. Western Michigan plays Eastern Michigan. Western is minus 7.5, 46.5. Western an 18 defense, Eastern a 30 defense, Eastern an E team. Western, they're the under team. I think Western, they're 7-4. I think they're up for the conference. We'll go through those divisions like we did last week, because that was good. It shows you like who has a chance. Like Georgia Tech Pitt, the winner was going into the ACC game, but Pitt's got Miami this week, so they probably have to win that game also. Navy and Memphis on Thursday. It's the only Thursday game. Memphis minus 5.5. I'm really shocked. It's a noon game, and you got the Lion game. I don't quite understand what they're doing. Navy, we know. Don't we need Navy to defend our water? Memphis 5.5, 58.5. Hey, Greg and John. Memphis 5.5. They're the 8 team. Navy's more of an over team. Probably a live dog here. Memphis has played some good games. They're 8-3. Navy's 8-2. So we'll see. Navy ends with Army next week. Let's look at the Friday games. Ohio, Buffalo. We got Ohio minus 7, 43.5. And Ohio is 7-4. Buffalo 5-6. Ohio probably needs the game, but I'm not sure. But they are 7-point favorites over Buffalo, who's not that good. Ole Miss against Old Mississippi State, a battle of the olds. Ole Miss is minus 7, 62.5. Ole Miss, the better team here, 10-1, ranked 6th, so they need the game for the playoff. Old Mississippi State, they're at home, and they're going to play them good. Both are over teams, although Ole Miss is 20 defense. I've been thinking about this, and I think the over in my world is going to be how they do offensively. So this tells me Ole Miss scores 40 points, and then I can see they give up 20. And Mississippi State scores 40 points and they give up 28. So that's where I'm getting the overs from. Now, it's supposed to be good offense, bad defense. But like in Mississippi's case, when they score 45 points, what should I call them? An A team? So there's multiple A teams. So I think I'll just call them overs because they score like 40 points. And they give up. So they really should be an A team here. Mississippi State with the 28 defense, 62.5 total. Yeah, this should be a good game, rivalry game. We will see. Kent State, Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois minus 5.5, 44.5. And we got Kent State, the Z team, Northern Illinois, the under team. Kent with the 34 defense. I think they're a Z team, not an E team. I think these are Z's. My pen's getting dry, so I got to redo it. But I think they're a Z with the 34 defense in Northern Illinois and under, which we hate, but it's only 5.5. So I think they should get the win here. Iowa, Nebraska. Iowa minus 6 and 38.5. Iowa's been playing well, although what the hell happened against Michigan State? I was shocked. Were they flat after playing Oregon and USC? You would have thought they wouldn't be because it was their last home game, and I can't imagine that they were flat to Michigan State. But what's Michigan State doing? Nebraska, without their quarterback, got blown out by Penn State. This is their senior day. A little more emotion, so this is very confusing because you're betting on the emotion to help, but it didn't help last week with Iowa. We'll see if it does for Nebraska. I'm sure it'll be a good game. Usually an under with these two teams. Nebraska with a backup quarterback, so we'll see. Utah, Kansas. Utah minus 12, 60. Utah, the A team with the 15 defense. Kansas, an over team with the 25. Now, I was talking to my friend from Utah yesterday about the Utah-Kansas State game. Like, how the hell did Kansas State score 47? So I'm sitting there, and he says, Kansas State ran a running play that Utah's never seen before, and Utah couldn't defend it. And they ran it like 100 times. They kept running it. They couldn't stop it, so they kept running it. They couldn't stop it. Really? How hard is it to stop? Make a chain. Move the linebacker over, whatever. So that's what happened, and the coach was pissed off. So the question is, will Kansas do the same thing? Or does Utah figure it out? We hope they figure it out. Yeah, Raiders, we knew that yesterday. They fired Chip Kelly. What do I think of Chip Kelly? Well, he was an innovative coach by spreading the field with speed, like at Oregon, but he never won anything. And then he went to UCLA. I thought he was decent there. And then he went to Ohio State as their offensive coordinator, and they started scoring a lot last year, but they lost to Michigan. And now it's not his fault. He had Geno Smith. I mean, I could go there as the offensive coordinator and not make it work with Geno Smith. I honestly don't think the problem is Chip Kelly. The problem is Geno Smith, and apparently the offensive line sucks. So what's he supposed to do with no offensive line? So then you got to go to the GM. And I think he was the offensive coordinator, whoever the GM is, or Coach Pete, and get me some offensive linemen. I think that fire him in the middle of the season like this. Now who's going to run it? Coach Pete? Get some guy from USC? I mean, I seriously don't think that was the issue. Okay, so you fired him. You gave Cleveland 20 points. Why don't you fire the defensive coordinator? With Prime Jr., you should have sacked him 15 times. So I don't know. It's funny how bad these quarterbacks look. They run around like I was watching Steve Young in the game yesterday, and he runs around. He doesn't know what he's doing. They're lost out there. Every once in a while, they get a completion, or he throws that 5-yard pass, and the guy runs 60 yards with it. I think what we're dealing with is the worst defensive coordinators I've ever seen. To let all these play. First of all, when it's tight late in the game, they're letting the guys get out of bounds. What is that? And too many of these soft zones where these guys are running wild open. Just pathetic. They don't blitz enough. If I'm playing a Lamar, he's blitzed every play he's blitzed. And he won't do shit. Can't read it. You won't know what to do with it. And he'll try to get rid of the ball. And they're all miracle passes. So I don't know. I think he's okay, but I don't think he was the problem. And then who are you going to use now? That's as good or better? None. So, I don't know what to say. It isn't Coach Pete. Look, if you got ingredients that are stale and you put them in your cake and then you bake the cake and it doesn't taste good because the ingredients are stale, you want to fire the baker or the guy who got the ingredients. The baker can't do anything. I baked it. I didn't know everything was stale. Tastes like shit. That's the point. I burned my pita bread. Is it the bread's fault? No, it's my fault for burning it. But that's the point. You can't blame Chip Kelly if he's got no offensive line. He's got Gentry and Brock Bowers, but he doesn't have a quarterback. I would have waited. I would have drafted Daggio or Robertson or one of these guys, the guy from Texas A&M. I don't like the Indiana quarterback at all. I don't think he's not going to do crap in the NFL. So I would have, I would go after those three quarterbacks. And then if you get them, then let's see what Chip Kelly can do. But even then, you shouldn't start him right away. What is wrong with these coaches? Well, I picked him in the first round, so automatically I have to play him. What are you, crazy? He's not ready to play. There's no way he's ready to play. So, I don't know. It's just, I think football, I don't think there's anybody with a brain in the coaching staff at all or the GMs. We'll hire a fast quarterback. Well, he can't throw. Yeah, but he's fast. He'll run a lot. Yeah, it's a quarterback. He needs to throw the ball to the receivers. You're paying $15 million too. Anyway, Air Force, Colorado State, Air Force 2.5, 45.5. All right. Let's see. Temple in North Texas. North Texas 19.5. 65.5. North Texas is the dominant team. And, you think they're an over team. They're not. They're an A team. They score 50, but they give up 24. They play good defense. You don't really want to fuck with North Texas. You bet them. Careful on the over. San Diego State, New Mexico. San Diego State minus 1.5. 41.5. San Diego State, the under team with the 12 defense. New Mexico, an E team, 25. And then we got Georgia Tech, Georgia minus 13.5. 59.5. Georgia's been scoring a lot more. They dicked around 35-3 against Charlotte last Saturday. I don't understand that one. Georgia Tech lost to Pitt, and Georgia Tech's 9-2 in conference. So they can't win the conference. So now it's just a rivalry game. Boise and Utah State. Boise minus 3.5. 55.5. I don't think this means anything. 7-4, 6-5. Boise, a B team, 23 defense. Utah State, an over team with a 30, but they haven't been scoring too much. Texas A&M and Texas. This is A&M minus 2.5. Total 51.5. This is your free play. Go over in this game. Texas does not have that defense, right? They're not a 15 defense. They're a 25 defense. They gave up a ton of points last week to Arkansas, 35. A&M's going to light them up with their quarterback Reed. The spread's way too low, 51.5. Go over in this game. They're both over teams, and they both have about 25 defenses. But if you look at Texas, for their last 5 games, they've given up 30 points. Vanderbilt, Old Mississippi State, Georgia. Last week to my Arkansas team, that was one of our lock overs. And here we go again. So this is a free play, A&M Texas free play. Happy Thanksgiving. And Indiana goes to Purdue. This is a rivalry somewhat. Indiana minus 28.5. So they're killing Indiana. You can't really bet the games. And 54.5. Purdue's pretty decent. It's a rivalry. Indy's been playing crappy lately. Barely, they screwed the Penn State game up. And last week, although Penn State ran it down Nebraska's throat, so maybe it wasn't. But Purdue's not a Z. They're a W team with a 30 defense, but they played USC. They played Penn State. They played some good teams. I think they played Washington. And Indy's an A team with an 11 defense, apparently. We'll see. This will be looking forward to the Ohio State game and the Big Ten championship game. That's a tease the dog game, I think. Last year, Indy would have beat them, but the rain, so they ran a punt back, and the punter dropped the ball. So that was how Ohio State beat them. Now, they didn't beat them offensively or defensively. A punt return and the fumbled punt by the punter gave Ohio State the ball at the 5. So, in effect, this was a dead even game last year. Indiana's better, good quarterback. I don't know. I hear Salin for the Heisman. I'm like, what planet are you talking? Salin, he's not even, who knows? I mean, you never see him. They play weak teams. They score a lot. The Heisman is Daggio is the best quarterback. Maybe you go to the Texas A&M guy, but since when is the Heisman Trophy winner has to be on an undefeated team? Where's this coming from? Oh, no, your guy's good. He's the best, but, you've lost 2 games. So we're going to give the Heisman to some idiot who can't play, but he's on the undefeated team. What the fuck's going on? All right, so Indiana's laying a lot. The rivalry is at Purdue. Not that Purdue can win, but I don't know. Indy doesn't show me that much. Arizona State. Arizona minus 2.5. 47.5. This would have been a tease the dog game had Leavitt been playing the Arizona State quarterback, but since he's out, you've got to take that into consideration. So people look at it like, oh, look how good Arizona State is. They beat Texas Tech. That's when Texas Tech's quarterback didn't play and Leavitt did. Leavitt got hurt. That's a big loss. Scadaboo's gone. So if those two, now Arizona State killed them last year. It was like by 50 points. So look for Arizona revenge here. They're an A team with a 20. Noah Fajitas playing better. Arizona State's an even team with a 23. I don't know. I that shows you all is that Arizona State's not favored at home. All right, let's just look at the bigger games on Saturday. We got Houston Baylor. Baylor 2.5, 59.5. Baylor, the over team with the 31 defense that goes over in every freaking game. Let's see if Houston can score, though. A B team with the 22. I don't know if this is an over because I don't think Houston does much. Clemson, South Carolina rivalry game. South Carolina minus 2.5, 46.5. South Carolina's been playing good the last few games with Lenoris, although beating Coastal Carolina by 50. See, they beat them by 50, but Georgia doesn't beat Charlotte by 50. Now, I didn't bet the Georgia game, but still, you got to be kidding me. So Clemson's been playing a little better. I don't know, but it's a rivalry game. Clemson's a dog. They'll probably hang in there. Let's look at the Z team, Ball State, Miami of Ohio minus 17, 42.5 to the Z team, Ball State, a 27 defense, and Miami of Ohio, an under team with a 21. Toledo minus 10, 44. Probably a big game for Toledo in the MAC. I'll have to check on that. Ohio State 10, 44.5 to Michigan. What do we do with this game? This should be Ohio State easy. The game's in Michigan. Ohio State's lost the last four, so we've already double revenged them. We revenged them after 2 losses and after 3 losses, and I'm tired of losing with Ohio State against Michigan. How Michigan beat them last year without a quarterback is unbelievable. This year, their quarterback, he's okay. He's nothing special. And he's a freshman. The game's at home. Ohio State just kills everybody, and you can't score on them. I think Michigan will have a hard time scoring with the freshman quarterback. Freshman quarterback do not win in this game ever. But Ohio State's quarterback's a freshman also, right? So both teams lose, right? 44.5. Do we go under? I don't know. I keep playing Michigan under against Maryland. They go over. Ohio State under. They go over. How do you have a 7 defense and go fucking over? They've been scoring a lot. At Washington, they won. They avoided the only good team they played, which really isn't a good team, was Penn State. And it was a fumble in that game that kind of cost us the over, but they did pound them. I just honestly can't see Ohio State losing this game, but Michigan has their number, and you can't fuck with that. So we go total. Do we go under 50.5? Michigan lost at SC. They lost at Oklahoma. They won at Nebraska. They're playing higher scoring games than they should be with this quarterback who's not very. They run for long. They're like the Lions. They run for like 3 50-yard touchdowns a game, not passing, but just running it. I remember an Ohio State Michigan game, and the Tim Biakabatuka ran for 300 yards. All they do is hand off tackle, and the guy, Ohio State just looked there like, oh, are we supposed to tackle him as he goes for 300 yards against Ohio State? So I don't buy Ohio State. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Michigan wins because they have their number. They've been playing good ball, beating a tough Maryland team. I don't know. They did lose to SC. Well, let's dive in. Ohio State's undefeated. Let's see. Ohio State 38 points a game, but we got to really dig into it. And Michigan 29. Ohio State gives up 7, Michigan 17. So you're thinking it's an under, or we take Ohio State -4. All right, I'm not going to go last five. Last five, Ohio State killed Rutgers, UCLA, Purdue 34-10, 38-14 with Penn State, and 34-0 Wisconsin. This doesn't really show you anything. These are weak teams. Michigan beat Washington 24-7 at home. Michigan State, who stinks, Purdue 21-16, Northwestern 24-22, and then kills Maryland. So let's go to the Michigan full schedule. And let's go back. So they beat New Mexico. All right, they lose to Oklahoma 24-13 at Oklahoma, then beat Central Michigan, a MAC team. Then they beat Nebraska 30-27. It wasn't that close. Nebraska scored with 5 seconds left. Michigan plays Wisconsin. They beat them 24-10. Then they lose to USC 31-13. So they lose to Oklahoma. They lose to USC. They beat Washington at home, Michigan State, Purdue, Northwestern, and Maryland. Now they're struggling with Northwestern at Wrigley Field. They struggle with Purdue 21-16. They beat Michigan State 31-20. And they got their ass kicked by USC and Oklahoma. Oklahoma was the kid's second game, but USC a little later. But if we want to use that. So I don't know. Michigan plays low-scoring games. Well, let's use the USC. 31-13, they play a 44, and this total is 44. That's about what pretty good team. Oklahoma, pretty good defense. They lose 24-13. That's what I would think this is, but Ohio State's got a better offense. So it looks like the Washington game, and they beat Washington with a good offense. Somewhere 24-7, low scoring game. Washington, very strong offense, but they beat them pretty good. Washington's probably the closest team in USC to Ohio State as far as good offensive teams. All right, you gave up 31-24. The best defense would have been Oklahoma, where you got 13 on them, and then Nebraska, you got 30 on. Yeah, the quarterback's not very good. Ohio State. All right, they beat Texas 14-7, who Arch Manning. Actually, that's not an impressive game when you can see Texas giving up 30 points a game, but it was the quarterback's first game. Throw out the Grambling game. Throw out the Ohio game, 37-9. All right, they beat Washington there, 24-6. Minnesota, 42-3. Illinois, good win at Illinois, 34-16. Wisconsin, 34-0. Penn State, 38-14. Purdue, 34-10. UCLA, who quarterback didn't play, and then Rutgers, 42-9. Well, we got Wisconsin, 34-0. We got Illinois, 34-16. So they play 34, they play a 50. That's about as similar as you can get. Illinois, the better quarterback. They do get 16 points. Wisconsin with nothing but a good defense. They get 34 on that defense. Do I have any idea of, do I take, now, are the I assume the receivers are playing, but let's see. Jeremiah Smith makes major claim about availability for match. Well, obviously he's playing. So can Ohio State use the USC plan, which they should? You saw USC did to them. You saw what Oklahoma did to them defensively. Ohio State's a better defense than Oklahoma. So the best one Michigan's got is beating Washington at home. Period. Ohio State beats Texas, and they won at Washington. That's their best win at Washington. Haven't really played. They didn't play Indiana, didn't play Oregon, didn't play USC. Like, what the fuck? What kind of schedule is this? They get all the weak Big Ten teams, so you really don't know how good they are. Beating Texas turns out to be not impressive. Georgia beat them 35-10. You beat them 14-7. Um, I mean, is Michigan going to break these 40-yard runs? They played a 44 with USC, so that's probably my number. They played a 30-something with Oklahoma. I don't see Michigan putting up more than 14 points in this game. Michigan's defense, I don't know. USC put up 31 on them. So let's go 31-10 to the 41. Probably an under. I would think it's Ohio State, but they've lost 4 in a row, so I ain't going there. I'm tired. I can only beat my head into the wall so many times before I don't beat my head into the wall. So I guess the only way you can play this is under. I'm tempted to go Ohio State -4, but I don't. We probably won't win. Iowa State 14.5, 47.5 to Oklahoma State. They showed up against Kansas last week, senior day. Now they're at Oak State, who sucks. They're a Z team. Iowa State, a pretty good team, laying 14. Colorado against K-State, prime senior, getting K-State 17.5, 49.5. The way K-State ran it all over on Utah, they're going to kill Colorado. All right, Texas Tech, West Virginia. Texas Tech minus 23.5, 53.5. This should all be Texas Tech. They're rated 5, but they're really 2, and they might be 1. They would beat Indiana. They would certainly beat Texas A&M. They got an all-pro defense. They got a good quarterback, good running, everything. This is the best team in the country. West Virginia stinks. West Virginia W with the 29 defense. Texas Tech's going to kill them. They're going to kill them. They're going to kill them. They're going to kill them. My Herman Munster. East Car 766 to Florida Atlantic. East Car the 18 with an 18 defense. Florida Atlantic and over with the 34. I'm not sure if East Car needs it to win their division, then fine. If they don't, I don't know. That's what you want is the team that needs it. Now, Miami Pitt, I believe Miami has 2 losses in conference, but Pitt has got 1. And I think didn't Miami beat Pitt? So no, they couldn't have beat. They play them now. So if Miami beats Pitt, then is Miami in the ACC championship? But I don't think they are. Virginia's got 1 loss, and they got to play Virginia Tech. So I don't know what really happens here. Miami's 13. However, they did beat Notre Dame, so I don't care that Notre Dame beats Navy and beats Syracuse by 50 points or 70 points. You lost to Miami and you lost to Texas A&M, so I don't care what you're saying. You're not a playoff team, Notre Dame. Even if God says you should be in the playoffs. So I don't know. Miami 7. Pitt's a pretty good team. We'll see. Let's see. Delaware 4.5, 55.5. I just want to put the lines in. Florida International 10, 51.5. Sam Houston's a Z team. Florida International and over. This is a good place. Florida International. UCF and BYU. BYU 17-46. UCF's an under team, 22. Not a good team. BYU, the A team, 17. We had them in the lock last week against Cincinnati, and they won for us by 2 touchdowns. They're going to win for us by 4 touchdowns here. UCF's not very good. BYU is a very good team. BYU is getting screwed. They should be in the playoffs. This 11 ranking, because they lost to Texas Tech, is a fucking joke. This is not a number 11 team. This is a number 5 team. It's Ohio State, question mark, if they can beat Michigan. Texas Tech's 2. I'll go to Indiana 3, and then I think it's BYU, Utah 4 and 5. Then we get to Alabama. I don't know. They lost to Oklahoma. Georgia, they lost to Alabama. Ole Miss, I don't know. They haven't played anybody. Or no, they beat Georgia, or did they lose to Georgia? I don't know. We'll have to think about it. So BYU has to win this game. They're at home. They're going to kill them. This is another Herman Munster. They're going to kill them game. Marshall, Georgia Southern. Marshall 8.5, 63.5. This is over and over. This should be an over game. 34 defenses and big scoring offenses, just what we want in our overs. Western Kentucky, Jacksonville State. Western Kentucky 3, 55.5. All right, let's not waste time. Western Kentucky almost beat LSU. They lost 10-7. Pretty good game. Bobby must not have played, or they would have won. Missouri State 2.5, 50.5. To Lou Tech. Lou Tech's a B team with a 19 defense. Missouri State, an E team with a 25. Georgia State, our Z team, against Old D minus 26, 58. And it's going against Georgia State. So we got an A team with a 21 defense going against our Z team, Georgia State. We're 3 for, well, the last 3 you bet against Georgia State, you win. It's probably the whole year. App State, 2.5, 54.5. To Arkansas State, I don't know. Texas State, our Roadrunner team, 9.5, 62.5. They score a bunch, no defense. South Alabama, an E team with a 28. Texas State over with the 32. You would think Texas State will handle them with their offense, but they got a weak defense, so you got to be careful. UAB and Tulsa. Tulsa is laying 8.5, 59.5. See, these are all the crap games that you just stay away from. UAB an over team with the 38 defense. Tulsa W with the 29. I mean, who cares? Lou Monroe and Lou Lafayette, our Z team. Lou Monroe, our Lou Lafayette. Lou Lafayette's minus 9.5, 48.5. Lou Monroe's a Z team with the 32 defense. Lou Lafayette an over with the 30. Lou Laf should kill him. Lou Monroe's terrible. Middle Tennessee, New Mexico State, another crap game. New Mexico State 4, 52.5. And in this game, Middle Tennessee's the Z team. Boston College, Syracuse. Boston College minus 3, 52.5. BC a W team with the 34, and Syracuse a Z team with the 31. Syracuse sucks, as we saw last week. They get through 2 pick sixes before Notre Dame hit their offense on the field. Quarterback's bad. BC, they're terrible. It's a terrible game. Kennesaw Liberty. Again, Kennesaw State, we don't have a line for. Troy, Southern Mississippi. Southern Mississippi, 6.5, 50.5. Let's see if our quarterback played last week. Southern Miss should beat Troy straight up. Cincinnati, TCU minus 3.5, 56.5. Interesting game here is TCU's favored. They struggled last week with Houston winning 17-14. That's why I don't know if I'm going over with Baylor because TCU should score and they won 17-14. They couldn't score a lot. Cincinnati here, the B team with the 22. I think Cincy's a live dog here. I know they got killed by BYU and Texas Tech, but that's what you expect. Those two teams are head and shoulders above everybody else, except for Utah. Missouri, Arkansas, very interesting game here. We've got Missouri 2.5, 57.5. The quarterback, I got to check. I think Pribula played with a broken ankle, dislocated ankle. Hard to believe. Hard to believe it's dislocated or that he played. I guess both. Arkansas over team came through for us and are over last week against Texas. They will score on Ole Miss, so they're a live dog here. I don't think Pribula will play here, but we'll see. And let's check this box score last week. I'm curious, did he play the whole game? Are you kidding me? Oklahoma is one win away from the college football playoff. And who do they play? They don't play Nebraska. They normally would play Nebraska on Friday. That's when you had all those great games, but I don't see them. Maybe they're on the second. Oh, yeah, they play LSU. So if they have to beat LSU and Bobby's not playing, yeah, we're going to take Oklahoma there. All right, let's look at it. Pribula, 20 of 36, 231 yards and 2 picks, no touchdowns. Pribula actually ran 8 times for -1 yards. The guy has a separated ankle. How the fuck is he playing? So he played, not well, but he played. Let's see, Oklahoma, Mateer, 14 of 30, 170 yards and 2 touchdowns. Ran 18 times for 6. That's Oklahoma's problem. It's too much Mateer. They don't have a running back. All right, so the guy actually played a full game against Oklahoma. I would draft this guy pretty high, Pribula. You've got to be kidding if he played the whole game against Oklahoma and ran 8 times. Well, I don't think he ran. He was probably sacks. All right. Here we go. Daggio against Tennessee. We've got Tennessee 2.5, 65.5. Vandy, an A team with the 22 defense. Tennessee, the over team with the 28. Beating Florida with Langway is not beating Daggio. Daggio, live dog again. What can I say? And they'll be 100 points in this game. Oregon and Washington. Oregon 6.5, 51.5. They're both A teams. Oregon a 13 defense. Washington a 19. They didn't give up 13 to USC. It was a good one. We had 16 and we needed all of them as they lost by 15. But we won with USC. Had a good week. I was 10-4. The problem was like Iowa was in 2 teasers. So it was like I almost locked Iowa, but I didn't. And then my lock Tennessee over didn't come through. That was in 2 teasers. So it was a weird, some of the losers were in 2 teasers. But mostly it was 10-4. It was a good week. I was very happy. The locks were 5-1. My locks went 7-1 this week. 2-0 in pro and 5-1 in college. So it was a very good week. I don't know. I'm more excited when I hit the locks and I go 10-4 than, unless I go 14-0. So Oregon, now they're at Washington. This is going to be a war, and 13 defense and 19. I don't know, maybe an under. Hard to say. But Oregon just played USC. Has to go to Washington. Not a big trip. It's not a time changer. But Washington will be ready. So this will be a good game. Wisconsin, Minnesota, mini minus 1.5, 37.5. Wisconsin under team, no quarterback. Minnesota, I don't know if they're an under team. They're 23 defense. They score a little bit. When I bet them under, all of a sudden they score 35 points. Like you don't know where it comes from. Wisconsin's been playing better. They beat Illinois. They beat Washington, so they're starting to win some games. So I think they're a live dog here, and I think the total goes under. This is 37. I thought it was 57. Oklahoma, LSU. Oklahoma 10, 37.5. This is definitely an under game, as you can see by the 37.5. Oklahoma minus 10 at home should get the win. LSU's playing good defense with the new coach, not so much offense. What was that score last week? LSU, Bobby, 13-10 over Western Kentucky. I mean, you scored 13 on Western Kentucky, you're in big trouble. Look for Oklahoma here, especially if they need the game to get into the playoff. At home, senior day. You just beat Missouri, who's a lot better than LSU. And I don't think Bobby will be at the game. He doesn't go to Oklahoma. He stays in LSU. He'll go to LSU, but not Oklahoma. So lay in 10, 37.5, a very low total, but they're both strong defenses, 17 and a 19. Penn State, Rutgers, Penn State, 13.5, 56.5. I mean, this is the point of handicapping. Penn State goes 3-0, then loses 6 in a row, fires their coach, quarterback gets hurt, and now they're a better team. Now they're 5-6 after the Ohio State loss. Now they're 5-6, and they got Rutgers. I mean, and now they're 13.5 points, where before you'd be betting Rutgers. Now you're like, Penn State's just running the ball down your throat. They know they have two good running backs. They're not throwing. They're just run. Rutgers over team, but they have a 30 defense, so Penn State should dominate here. Wake against Duke. We've got Duke -1 and 55.5. The Dukies, what can I say? Wake Forest, they're not a bad team. They're 8-3. They're the quietest 8-3 team you'd ever heard of. Duke 6-5. Duke an over team with a 30. Although they didn't show up against Virginia, and Wake's there. Army UTSA 7.5, 52.5. Now these are the real Roadrunners. Their actual name, the Roadrunners. Gotta love the helmet. It's a little Roadrunner face. Army and under team 22, UTSA and over 30. We will see. It's hard to pick these Army Navies. James Madison, Coastal Carolina. Our Coastal, they got James Madison, the A team, -21.5, 53. See, we're on Coastal against the Z teams. That's how this should work. But when you got an A team or South Carolina, you can't fuck with them. And here, I can't take Coastal in 27. Even though we like them and they're winning us money, we got to just, wow, we can't fuck with the Z team with the 16 defense. It isn't going to work. You're looking to bet against the Z teams or, teams that need it, injuries, stuff like that. All right, Florida State, another big rivalry. Florida -1.5, 50.5. How can Florida be favored? Well, Florida State's just as bad. I think this is a Florida State play. I think this will be a close game. I can't see Florida beating anybody with that quarterback. Oregon State, Washington State, 13.5, 41.5. I can't tell you anything about these teams. Oregon State's a Z team with the 29. Washington State's an under with the 21. I don't know. It's not a rivalry. I don't know what it is. Rice against South Florida. South Florida minus 27, 60.5. Rice, the W team with the 29 defense. South Florida, I got them as an AO. They're really an over team with the 26 defense, but they score like 45 points. Very explosive team. Rice, a W with the 29, but now we're laying 27. So that's the equalizers, the line, which makes this much harder than it should be. Maryland, Michigan State 448. Better with this backup quarterback. Maryland, a 23, an under with a 23. I don't even know how they're an under team. They're terrible. Michigan State, a W with a 31. Again, I can't bet on either of these teams. Virginia Tech, Virginia 9.5. Need the game, 52.5. B-Tech, a W with the 30 defense. Virginia, an A with the 21. Charlotte and Tulane. Charlotte, our Z team. Tulane is an E team. Tulane minus 29.5. 53.5. Charlotte, a 37 defense, and Tulane, a 26. Tulane probably kills them, but, see, here Tulane will beat them 50-3, but Georgia only gets 35. Something smells pretty bad for Georgia there, 35. Kidding me? I'm surprised the backup quarterback didn't throw the ball because that's what killed them last year. Alabama, Auburn. Alabama is 5.5, 46.5. Alabama, the A team, 17 defense. Auburn, B team with a 20 defense. Not bad. No quarterback. Again, they have the running quarterback, which Alabama hates. They cannot defend the running quarterback, as we saw from Florida State. They don't know how to defend it. Their linemen are too slow. The safeties don't come up. They just play these weak zones. They're terrible. But they probably won't be able to stop Alabama's passing. USC, UCLA. USC 21-59 to UCLA, who I don't know what they are. They were sucked the first couple of games. They switch offensive coordinators. The Humpty Dumpty kid. And all of a sudden they're lighting it up. They beat Penn State. They beat Maryland. They beat Michigan State. Then they run into Ohio State and Indiana, and they get killed. And here's USC. And USC, I don't know. They can't win the Big Ten, so I don't know what they're really doing, but it's a rivalry. I don't know who UCLA is right now. Northwestern, Illinois 7, 47. Hey, I'll tell you, Northwestern's been playing some good ball. I think this will be a tight, this is a rivalry game. North Carolina State is not a rivalry game. North Carolina, Duke is a rivalry game. Why they didn't schedule that for the last week, I have no idea. NC State minus 7.5, 47. They're really killing it when they don't put the rivalry the last week. All right, you got Clemson, South Carolina, but why is North Carolina not playing Duke this week? Why is Washington not playing Washington State, Oregon State? Why did they play week 3 and not know? I don't understand it. They're killing the rivalries. SMU and Cal, what is this for the last week? SMU minus 13.5 and 52. SMU's rival is either Houston or Texas. Cal's is Stanford. They played last week. Why are you playing Cal Stanford last week? Oh, my God. SMU, the A team, the 20 defense, looks like they will be in the ACC championship game. And here's Cal, an E team. So if SMU must win to make it, then we'll bet on them. And that's what we got to see. Vegas goes against Nevada. This is a rivalry. It's in Nevada. Vegas 7.5, 53.5. And Nevada's the Z team. Go Vegas. Beat Navy. Notre Dame playing another hard team. Notre Dame, 32-50 against this. Probably go over because Notre Dame's going to probably score 70 points. It's hard to lay 32 at Stanford. Beat Florida State there. An 18 with an 18 defense, a W with a 29. But again, notice the only good team they beat was USC. And then A&M and Miami were first 2 weeks. They lost 2 of them, and they beat USC by 10 at home. Yes, they lost. No, A&M was a home game. So, that's it. Since the A&M game, and they lost, they played nobody except for USC. And that has to come back to haunt you. All right. Probably an over because Notre Dame's going to score 70 again. Fresno State, San Jose State, Fresno State, 2.5, 46.5. Fresno State, an under team. Kurt Warner's kid's terrible quarterback. They got some running. San Jose State, we thought was good. They've got a good passing offense, but apparently they don't score. They're a W team with the 32 defense. Apparently they suck, even though you think. And Wyoming, Hawaii minus 7.5, 44.5. Hawaii, pretty good team this year. Wyoming, the under. That is it. Your free pick is Texas A&M over. Bet as much as you got on it. All right, let's look at the pros. So we've been digesting yesterday's bullshit game. Let's look at this week now. Thursday we got Thanksgiving games. Lucky week 13. So we open with the noon game, Green Bay at Detroit. And I'm going to be writing this in as I go. I've got to pull in the data, which I will do right after class and regame. So tomorrow you'll know. Just figure whatever we used last week should be pretty much the same. How much is it going to change? Detroit minus 2.5 and 49. I don't know. The way Green Bay plays defense, Detroit isn't going to do much. They could barely beat the fucking Giants. They lost to Philadelphia. They lost to KC. They lost to Green Bay. They lost to Minnesota. Here's Green Bay again. Michael Parsons is still there. Let's not forget that. So you've got, to me, this is an even game because this is not the same Detroit team. This is a different Detroit team. Excuse me, I'm going to get a glass of water. So this is a different Detroit team than we're used to for the last couple of years. This is more the team that was 3 years ago when they were 1-9, and then they had an easy schedule and they finished like 8-9 or 7-9. They're still playing 16 games, but they want to say, "Look how good we are. We beat all the bad teams. Look at us." And that's all I hear on the radio now is that we beat the easy teams and lose to the last team. So somebody on the radio is listening to our class. So this is an even tease the dog game, I think. I'll have to research it a little bit more, but Hutchinson doesn't even look like he's playing anymore. He's just out there. Their offensive line is big trouble. The center retired. The 2 guards stink. So you don't have any run. Michael Parsons is going to just I mean, he's going to be a Oliver Goff who doesn't like to be touched or rushed, and he can't run the ball. Are you going to have all these runs by what's his name? The Alabama kid, Frank Gore, I want to say. Uh, I don't know, whatever the guy zero is. Is he going to be able to run like that on Micah Parsons? He's their whole offense, right? A little bit of throwing. It's basically hand the ball to him and hope he can break one for a touchdown like he did in overtime against the fucking Giants. Oh my God, the Giants had what, 5, 6 sacks? The Giants had the lead the whole game. Okay, that's a sign. Philly doesn't have a good offense as they showed you against Dallas, right? But in this case, the Giants have no offense. Scatterboo's out. Dart's out. You got Winston, who's terrible, eating you up, eating you alive. I mean, this is the Giants eating you up. Now, we know Love's not that good. He's not that much better than Winston, really. He doesn't really show you anything. Avocado skin. So I don't buy that Detroit's favorite in this game. They are, but I don't buy it. I think it's a tease the dog game. KC goes to Dallas. All right. KC's -3 and 52. Well, Philly got 21 points real quick on Dallas and then a lot of turnovers. I think Jalen Hurts is horrible. I didn't know he was this bad until I'm watching against a weak Dallas defense. He's terrible. Oh my God. Mahomes is going to eat this defense alive. This is a real quarterback. They must win. They're 6-5. They have to win the game. It's at Dallas. Doesn't matter. I think this will be a close game. Dallas, Dak, 2 interceptions, standard. But the receivers are good. Dallas will score on KC like Indy did. This should be a close game. 52, do we go over? Maybe. I'm not sure KC's got that killer defense. Dallas doesn't. So I don't know. Maybe an over. I'm not taking Dallas as a dog to Kansas City. No, thank you. So I don't know. I got to see. Hopefully the line goes to 2. We can take KC in 4. That will be the best. And the last game, Cincinnati goes to Baltimore with our man Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase both playing. Higgins is out. We don't give a shit. We got Burrow and we got Chase. Baltimore -7, 52. I love Burrow as a dog, and I love the game over. Both these teams are over. Baltimore and Cincy, they can't stop anything. You got Joe Burrow out there. Good luck stopping him. The toe is, I'm sure, okay. He practiced all last week. I don't know why he didn't play against New England. They would have won. Probably because they didn't have Chase. And they only won by 7 or 6 with Burrow and Chase out there. Wait, it was 26-20 with Burrow and Chase out. Imagine if Burrow and Chase played. So anyway, I think that was bullshit that they suspended Chase. You don't suspend a guy for spitting. That's childish. What is this, 3rd grade? Come on. No, he plays, he pays a fine, and that's it. This is stupid. So with Burrow and Chase, Cincinnati turns into an over team, and Baltimore, I don't know. Lamar's been injured. So I got to see what's the best way. Cincinnati in 13 or over. Probably both. All right. Friday. All right, now they're playing Friday games. Oh, my God. Chicago at Philly. I don't really understand this game. You got 3 fucking games on Thursday. Philly -7 and 44.5. I don't know who's watching this game at 3 p.m. when all the good college games are on. Uh, the Bears, they're not good. I mean, they win. I don't know how. All these trick plays. Philadelphia, you got problems. You got the defense. You don't have an offense. They should be able to light up Chicago because they got a real weak defense. Well, probably leaning to the over in this game or Philly -1 sounds really good. I don't see taking Bears. I mean, Philly's just a better team by far. I mean, they're both 8-3. Do we believe that they're even? Hell no. Philly's got a real 8-3. They went to Kansas City. They played, I think, Buffalo or Baltimore, and all the games they played. Chicago played nobody. They played Detroit and got killed. They haven't played Green Bay yet. That's 2 Green Bay games and another Detroit game. Now, if you go 11-3, okay, I start believing. You haven't played the Bears yet. What the fuck's wrong with this schedule? They're in week 12 and they haven't played the teams in their conference yet. Philly off of the loss. I can't see them at home losing to the Bears. Mike Ditka. The Rams 10-45 at Carolina. -10-45. I mean, this is the Rams are, if this was college, they'd kill them. It's not, but they should win by 4. The 45. The Rams, strong offense, strong defense. Carolina, now forget what they showed. They got picked off. The Rams are a stronger defense than the Niners. It's at Carolina. That's the only thing. It's the 1:00 game, so it's 10 in the morning for the Rams. Now, again, I don't know how much that means, but it is a talking point that they got to go and play a game at 10 in the morning, which is different. Arizona goes to Tampa. Tampa off of their loss. Tampa's -3, 44.5. You got to love Tampa. +3 against Arizona. Wow. Tampa's not getting the respect, and they're using the injuries as an excuse. Okay, they got killed by the Rams. Fine. They're not going to get killed by Arizona, not at home. Atlanta goes to the Jets. Is another thrilling game. What is this doing on the schedule? This is that cross-sectional. So Atlanta's playing Buffalo and New England, the Jets in Miami, and the Jets are playing Buffalo. So New England's playing Atlanta, Carolina, Tampa. So that's why they're doing so well. They're playing such shit teams. Atlanta -3 on the road. Well, Kirk Cousins and 40. Yeah, I think Atlanta wins. We'll see about the 40. Maybe it's an under. Atlanta doesn't score. They got a terrible offensive coordinator. New Orleans goes to Miami. And Miami is 6 and 41.5. Tyler Shaw is terrible. Like I said, I didn't see how they could be favored. I didn't see how Oakland could be favored. I didn't see how Prime Jr. could throw for a first down. I don't know. New Orleans, Tyler Shaw is terrible. Maybe it's an under. I don't know. Houston goes to Indy. Big game for Houston. They need to catch Indy. Indy off of the loss. Indy's -4.5, 44.5. In the worst division of football. Well, now I think it's the NFC South. Tampa's good, but New Orleans, Atlanta, and Carolina suck. And here, Indy's good. Houston's okay. Jacksonville sucks, and Tennessee's terrible. 4.5, 44.5. Houston should play a good under game. Indy, I don't know. They're not going to let Jonathan Taylor run all over the place. We'll see. Is Houston a live dog? You really don't want to start betting against Indy, but I think Houston gives them a good game. See, that's the difference. Houston at home beats Buffalo, but now they got to go at Indy. Indy off of a loss. Who cares? Indy stinks anyway. I'm not buying Indy. They played okay, Kansas City, but I'm not buying them. Start winning some playoff games. Just like Houston, I didn't buy because they lost their playoff games. So we're looking at getting us the money. Jacksonville, Tennessee, the other half of that wonderful division that we call the AFC South. Jacksonville minus 6.5, 42. I think you can take Jacksonville here even because Tennessee's not going to win. They're 1-10. I don't know how they won one. Well, that was that fluke when they won. Frisco goes to Cleveland. Brock Purdy, I saw through 4 interceptions. Oh my God. Cleveland is Prime Junior going to still be their back? This we have to see. If it's Prime, we're taking the Niners at 5.5. If it's Gabriel, we're taking the Niners at 5.5. But Purdy, I don't know what his deal is. This is Carolina's defense he was struggling with. Cleveland, good defense. We'll see. Minnesota goes to Seattle. Minnesota, JJ, he's terrible. Darnold, I know he'll struggle against this defense. Seattle minus 10.5. That's ridiculous. 41. That line's not right at all. That's too high. Seattle 7-point favorite at the most. 10.5. I know JJ's terrible, and I'd like to talk to the GM and apply for his job as far as drafting a quarterback. Jesus Christ, you draft him number 8 in the first round. This clown. Oh my God. And you actually take a paycheck. I mean, Seattle's good. They're not that good. Smith Najima, he's not that good. Everybody, he's a. What did he do against the Rams last week? Did he make any catches? Or no, 2 weeks ago. Did he make any catches? All right. Way too high, the spread. Oakland goes to San Diego. This is the holy roller game when Dave Casper threw the ball from the 20-yard line. Stabler threw it to the 20 and fumbled. Casper kicked it into the end zone and fell on it to win the game with no time left on a fumble that changed the rule that said on 4th down, the guy has to recover his own fumble. Oakland, I hear Stabler is playing, as is Marcus Allen and Jack Tatum. San Diego minus 10. Yeah, we'll call it 9.5. 41 over our Raiders. Oakland's terrible. We seem to realize that. San Diego, and probably an under. I don't know. Can't bet Oakland. They couldn't beat Cleveland, right? Buffalo goes to Pittsburgh. Oh, we got a full slate this week. No more buys. Buffalo and Pitt. Buffalo minus 3.5. 47.5. Pitt, Aaron Rodgers should be playing. Buffalo mighty struggle against Houston, though. Pitt doesn't have that kind of defense. With Aaron Rodgers, this should go over. Denver goes to Washington. Just keep the spread under 10 and I'll be a happy camper. Oh my God, Denver minus 6.5. 43.5. Are you kidding? This will be our free play. Take Denver minus 0.5 point. That's your free play. Are you kidding me? Denver is even with Washington. Jalen Daniels is out. Are you kidding me? That as bad as the Seattle spread at 10.5, this spread, I just was saying, keep it under 10 for me, 6.5. That's terrible. In our last games, the NYG, so they play the Jets twice against New England. So we're all going to see how good New England is. New England minus 7.5. That's not a big line. 46.5. I got to go over in that game. The way the Giants manhandled Detroit, New England's not. New England's not that. Tom Brady's not there. Okay, just in case you don't realize, this is not Tom Brady. So I can't bet the Giants, but the way they looked against the Lions, this is going way over. So the key is to know who's over and who's under. And you've got to move on. Like Detroit was great 2 years ago. Well, they weren't even great 2 years ago. Last year they were a good team. And this year they're not. This year you've lost your center and both guards. Your coordinators stink. The offensive coordinator basically got fired. The coach is doing it. The defensive coordinator couldn't solve Jameson Winston and the Giants. Are you kidding me? We know Jameson Winston stinks, but the plays, these guys were wide open. Oh, my God. And these idiots are going, oh, Lions to the Super Bowl. Yeah, so they can lose by 50 to Kansas City. You can't guard Jameson Winston and the Giants. What are you planning on doing? They can't. The Rams would torch them. Philadelphia did torch them. Seattle, they always have struggles with. Green Bay, we'll see. They lost the first game, and they're trying to sell it like, well, that was week one. Yeah, they kicked your ass, and they're going to kick your ass again. This is not the same Detroit team. There's a lot of injuries, and you've lost your whole offensive line, which is what you did to run the ball, which opened up your play action because Goff cannot go back in the pocket. He needs to roll out and throw to the tight end who's wide open for 5 yards, who gets 10 because there's no there. The tight end's out. What's his name? I don't know, the kid from Iowa. Jameson Williams didn't catch a ball last week. St. Thomas, he did have a touchdown, and it was all Gibbs, the running back. That's what his name was. Frank Gore, I think. He had all these long runs. Are you kidding me? So he ain't doing that against Micah Parsons. That I guarantee. And you almost just got to take him out of the game, Bill Belichick, or take Gibbs out of the game, and the Lions have nothing. Goff is terrible. St. Thomas is okay. He's been dropping the balls. And Williams, the guy from Alabama. Too many guys from Alabama for me. He's a great GM. Oh, yeah, he can draft guys from Alabama in the first round. Oh, what a genius. He's a genius. Let me see. We have nothing. I need running backs. Oh, there's a guy from Alabama. Okay, I'll draft him in the first round, which you're not supposed to do. Okay, he's good. Okay, he's fast. Then the wide receiver was a joke. You could have had two Georgia defensive players. Instead, you've got a wide receiver from Alabama that you could have got from Texas Tech, from TCU, from Baylor, who's just as good. So that's a joke. 1/10 of an ounce gold maple leaf. So excited. I got this yesterday. And I like it's really uncirculated because it's in this pouch. I don't know that it adds value, but he gave it to me at the same price as the regular dimes. So I was happy with that. It's always nice to get more gold or silver. So what else? So that's it. So our Thursday games: Green Bay, Detroit, KC, Dallas. So good games to watch. Um, definitely. Chicago, Philly. What is the point of having this game? It's on Amazon, I believe, so nobody will be able to watch it. First two are on Fox, CBS, NBC, the Thursday games. Friday, you're going to show a game on Amazon that will be watched by 0 people. You've got the Thursday, the Friday games. You've got Mississippi, Mississippi State, Iowa, Nebraska, Utah, Kansas, the Air Force, Georgia, Georgia Tech, A&M in Texas, Indiana, Purdue, and Arizona, Arizona State. Who the hell is going to be watching this? And these are all on regular TV. I really don't get it. It makes no sense to me. Why, I don't get the whole Amazon bullshit. Yeah, let's have it on a network nobody has, and nobody wants. I certainly don't. I'm not. This is the problem. You hear these guys joking. Oh, you cut the cable cord, and now you gotta you gotta pay for the channels. Well, only an idiot pays for the channels. I'm going to pay for Amazon. No, I don't think I'm going to pay for it. What is Amazon even doing in the TV business? And why would they do um, like this instead of putting it on, like a channel like CBS or Fox? That's what doesn't make sense. Nobody's going to run and buy Amazon, especially for this game. I'm going to go and do Amazon for the game. Are you kidding me? I don't think so. And then you've got the NFL Network on these London games, which nobody wants to get up to watch a game at 9:30 after up watching the Saturday night college game, and we've got the regular game. So I don't really know what the thought is, and I heard it's really hard to count how many people actually watched it. Um, I think you can see it on ABC and NBC and Fox, but they're saying you can't really like how many are on the NFL Network watching or Amazon or you know, YouTube, they have no idea because you're on YouTube, but you could be watching the movies, not that or Money Heist. So I just think it's all going to collapse anyway. Um, so let's talk some economics here. So what do we have? We have this country who's in serious trouble. We have even if we forget the debt. Again, the problem is the money, right? If you print this to zero, nothing else really matters. Oh, well, it's the faith in the government. Who has faith in the government? You got us in 4 wars. You're giving money to the Ukrainians. What the fuck? What do we have faith in you? What, to make us broke? Yes, the debt, 38 trillion, you're never going to pay back. People just seem to ignore that. No, they ignore it because they don't know any better. If people don't know, they're not taught it, people tend to keep their head in the cloud. It's all about me. Well, what do I have? Oh, I got 500,000 in my 401k. I'll be fine. No, you won't be fine because your money's in dollars, which is worthless. If this is worthless, what do you think your 401k? What do you think the value of that is? It's worthless. So that's the first part. So then you do talk to somebody about gold, and what do? Well, they go and talk to their financial advisor, financial planner at Merrill Lynch or whatever. Oh, you don't want to be in gold. Gold, there's no interest, there's no dividends in gold. Yeah, how about the price going from 1,700 to 4,100? The guy couldn't explain that, right? So, but there's no dividends. Like we're not in gold for the dividends, fella. We're in it because it's going to go to $25,000 an ounce, and we got a bunch of ounces, and that's where we're going to make the money. So you're really struggling with that. Um, it's really hard to understand what the hell they're doing. It's people are just not informed. think that they have money, so they're the smartest people in the room, and they'll be fine because of that, and that's all they care about. Oh, I'm fine. I've got 500,000 in my 401k in stock. What if the stock market crashes? Oh, it can't crash. Well, it did in 2008. It did in 2000. It did in 1987. It did in 1929. I'm sorry. Where have you? What are you on drugs? Do you not see where it's crashed before? Oh yeah, but it always came back up. Not this time. This time you've got the dollar's gone. This market is being pulled. The foreigners are pulling their money out of the stock market because they know it's worthless. That's why all the central banks are pulling they're selling their treasuries to get the money to buy gold because like China, Russia, India, they know the dollar's worthless. They know they're going away from it. This de-dollarization, whatever bullshit that name is, basically the dollar's worthless. So instead of being in the dollar, we're getting out of the dollar. I don't know why you need a name for it. It's just simply you're buying you're changing from a dollar to gold. Okay, that makes sense. The yuan will not be the reserve currency because it's not worth anything either unless they back it by gold. Then it's really gold being the reserve currency. Anyway, the demand for it's higher. And again, I thought November 24th was the day they had to cover their shorts when the Chinese are buying these gold options and COMEX, they have to settle November 24th, which was yesterday. So we will see about that. Um, Gold's so undervalued. Again, it's not even really valued. Physical gold does not have a price. If you really understand it and think about it, there is no price for physical gold. The only price is for the paper option derivative gold. That's it. That is not the price of your physical gold. That is the price of a derivative or option in COMEX, but not physical. Do you think this is so? Gold's 4,100. So this is, let's say, 400, roughly 450, 475. I saw yesterday on eBay. It's 475. Do you really think this is 475? Do you really buy that gold's 4,100? Absolutely not. Times it by 10. Gold's probably $20,000 to $30,000 an ounce in physical, but we can't prove it because there is no physical price of gold. It is not the COMEX price. It is not the paper price. It's not the physical price of gold. At what point do you think it is? It's not. And that's really the key to it. So because it's not the real price, we don't know what it is. So they just pass it off as if you go to the gold store, well, whatever the paper price is what we'll use to sell physical. And it's this, they're all a bunch of idiots. Anyway, why is this whole mechanism the way it is? It was price fixed because the government wants to print money because they're all a bunch of crooks. Right? Madoff just got caught, but I don't know why he got caught. I don't know why he just didn't. I'm turning my fund off. And, geez, gosh darn, I can't pay everybody back. We're losing, and I can't do it. And he runs to Switzerland or somewhere, and that's what he should have done. He should never have just went to he should have just said the fund's closed. Give JP Morgan back. It's funny how JP Morgan had money in it. Yeah, they were in on the Ponzi, but that's what happens. These guys. So why am I in Madoff? Because my father's in it, my brother's in it, my cousin's in it, somebody I know is in it, and they say, "Yep, he pays me every month. I get my 10% or whatever." So, yep, he's fine. He never gets it. And the SEC's like saying, "Oh no, we audited him and everything was fine." So they're fucking everybody over too. Um, but it's because you don't know. You're doing things you don't know, and you ask your financial planner or your father or your uncle or somebody who's in finance. I remember watching Madoff on Netflix, and one guy, well, he's in Wall Street, so he should know if it's good or not. And he said it was okay. If a guy who's in Wall Street doesn't understand it. Now, a little secret: all of Wall Street is a Ponzi scheme. Everything that there is, all the stocks and bonds, Mutual funds, real estate trusts, these housing REITs, they're all Ponzi schemes. They're all controlled. They control the price. You're fucked any way you go if you're in with a broker. Listening to a broker, he's going to put you in the stocks. Probably he'll put you in a mutual fund or stocks. Look at your 401k. Well, which mutual fund or thing do you want to go into? You don't handle your own stocks. You can't buy gold with it. I don't think you can buy gold stocks, neither that you want to anyway, because they'll be collapsed. Yeah, I want to buy gold in my 401k. Can't do that. Sorry, we don't get commission on it. You can't do it. You don't need a financial planner if you understand the game. I teach you the game every day, and I will continue teaching it. This is worthless. So you're going to Rumpelstiltskin and trade it in for gold and silver. It's as simple as that, and that's all you need to own. And just put it in the safe, put it in a safe place, and watch gold go from 2,000 to 4,000. You've just doubled your money with no risk in the portfolio. And that's all paper gold. That's not even, we're not even at the physical gold price. As I show you, here's the physical gold price up here, and here's COMEX. COMEX is now 4,000, and the real price is up here that we don't even know somewhere. You can't lose in gold because it's very limited, and because of the demand. And as Alligator says, and he's totally wrong, it's not the gold going up, it's the money going down, and he's full of shit. So you can't even really trust Alligator because he doesn't know. It has really got nothing to do with the dollar going down. It is gold going up because of demand and a limited supply and a physical gold price. I might have to put onions on my feet again. Every time I do my long 90-hour fast, I seem to get a cold. Anyway, I wonder if my resistance goes down because I haven't eaten right for 4 days. So anyway, you don't know. So you ask your planner, and he tells you to buy stocks because he gets commission. He's doing what's best for him, not what's best for you, nor is he explaining it. I would ask my financial planner, well, what do you think of gold? Oh, no dividend, no interest. It's just, it's not. You'll make more money in stocks. Yeah, but what if the money collapses? Oh, that'll never happen. It's never collapsed before. Why would it collapse? Because they printed $150 trillion. The petrodollar's gone. The FX is now gone because China and Russia can trade without buying the dollar. What the fuck are you talking about? You don't know what you're talking about, do you, financial planner? And in retirement, all you need is gold and you'll be fine. You don't want stocks. In the regular world, stocks have worked, but it won't work anymore. We're collapsing, right? The companies are going under, and there's no jobs. I can't find a job. I interviewed with Penske on Thursday. Oh, we'll make this. I just got an email. Well, we've changed the scope, and we're going to go with someone in another direction. It's a financial analyst position. What do you mean you're changing the direction? It's open to just analyzing finance. So really, it's just I can't find one. I think I'm just probably too old, or these hiring managers are fucking idiots. I find that these kids today cannot talk; they just text, and they really are stupid. And that's another reason the businesses are going out. They don't know what to do. These are kids that are unable to manage. They shouldn't be managing. The choice of manager is ridiculous. So again, you're not being taught Austrian economics, so you don't know how to ask the questions. And when you do, you're talking to the wrong person. You're talking to the financial advisor or planner who gets commission on selling you stocks. That isn't what's best for you. What's best for you is Rumpelstiltskin, the dollar into gold. That's what's best for you. I show you, look, this is what the professor does. He buys gold. That's what I do. So just follow my lead. I don't get any commission by you buying gold or silver. I don't get anything because you sold your dollar. All I do is basically save your life, because if you just stay in dollars, you're fucked. It's zero. You're worthless. You won't be able to eat. I just got a text from Jenna this morning. Oh, I gave her some money for groceries, whatever, and she's, and she keeps, oh, it's my son's birthday. He's turning 18, and da 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 da. And I'm like, what do you want? I just gave you money. She can't afford it. She's in debt. I mean, she says I can't even like make anything for his birthday, or we'll go to McDonald's and shit like that. So I think she's like begging me for money, but I just gave her money and she's begging for, now it's his birthday. Yeah, sorry. I helped you, but that's it, because I got to take care of myself, and I don't want to start turning in my gold at this point. So that's the problem. So I'm like, hey, sorry, I can't help you right now. So anyway, that's really what's happening. Is most people aren't aware of they're about to fall into a cliff and be poor and be hungry because they're in dollars, or they think that their value of their stocks will keep them alive, but not understanding the stocks are in dollars. Well, I'll go to my financial planner. Well, okay, but he's going to tell you to keep it because he makes commission on it. And he probably doesn't know, or she probably doesn't understand gold and the dollar being worth zero because it's been inflated. Most of these people think the inflation is prices when it's printing the dollar, it's inflating the dollar supply. Excuse me. So, what do you do with them? I mean, how many millions of people are in trouble because they don't know what question to ask? They don't teach this anymore. I got lucky in the 90s. They still taught Austrian economics, and I learned all about it. But now nobody teaches it because the government's just fucking you over. You have faith in the government, you must be out of your mind. They lie all the time. They've got us in this Ukraine war. For what? Now, I was watching this thing I showed you on Hitler. I think it was yesterday. Why did he go to war? Because he had to. He issued these treasuries in 1934 for 5 years. So they were coming due 1939 because he had no money. They had that hyperinflation, and then they brought in the new Deutschmarks, and that didn't last. And basically, there was 6 million people unemployed. And so he got them a uniform and said, hey, sign up, boys. You can work with my army. And then he needed the money to buy tanks, uniforms, and food and planes. So they made all these planes and tanks and trucks with this fake bonds, basically. So this is 1934. Problem is, they all come due in 1939. And since he's been spending all the money on military, which doesn't produce any revenue, which is why I laugh at all the US going into wars, you don't get any revenue out of it. It's a huge cost, and you're killing people. So it's 1939. These bonds come due, and what does Hitler do? Well, we got to go to war because we're going to go into Czechoslovakia and Poland and Brussels and all these countries to steal their gold. We're broke. So what does a broke person do? They go to war to steal somebody else's goods. So he goes into Czechoslovakia, goes right to the central bank. You think the Blitzkrieg was creative? No, it was, we don't have any money. We got to do this in a week. So they just went in as fast as they could, went to the central bank, stole the gold, stole the silver, whatever money they could take, and brought it back to Germany. That's why the war started in 1939. That's why the war started at all. And Hitler basically ran out of money. And he had all these bonds he owed, and he owed major companies like Mercedes and Bosch and stuff. So he had to pay them back, or he wouldn't get any more cars and tanks and planes. Feeding feeding your military, getting them shoes, getting them uniforms. So there's a lot of costs feeding them that you have in war. And so he went in, and they didn't really want to fight, and then they're being overpowered. So if a guy comes to to your shop with a machine gun. What are you going to go fight them? Oh, yeah, here you go. And so that's really the big story is that. And that's why they went to war in 1939. And then the U.S. The only reason the U.S. survived was because we were the manufacturing lane, and so we could make weapons for Britain and Russia and France, probably Germany too. Henry Ford made weapons for Germany. He had a plant near Germany, so as you're in a war, you need weapons, you need missiles, you need tanks, planes, and as you needed it. The U.S. would make it for him because we had the manufacturing. And then we got involved with the war. I don't know why. Pearl Harbor was about an oil embargo in Japan, which should never have happened. So if people are going to die, they're going to attack you. So that's what happened there. And then so Hitler goes to war. And then when Pearl Harbor happens, then that forces us into the war. But it was all about Hitler needing gold because he was broke. So he goes to war to steal the gold and silver from these other countries. That's what war is. We are at war because we are broke. Now we're in Venezuela, we're in Iran, we're in Ukraine because we want to steal their. Initially, we wanted to steal the Russians' oil and gold, but Russia says no. And so there's nothing we can do. So now he takes whatever he can get in Ukraine. And Venezuela's got a lot of oil and gold. That's why we're there. And then in Iran, they got a lot of oil and gold. All the oil-rich countries were trying to get the oil, which I didn't think we wanted. I thought we were electric cars. And so this is our problem. Bottom line, if you read between the lines, we're broke. We have to attack these countries to get the gold and the silver. Our money's worthless, but they can't say that. I can say it because I know that's a fact. It's worthless. The dollar has no value. Gold does not go up because the dollar loses value. Gold goes up only when any other product, when the demand goes up and the supply goes down, the price goes up, the value goes up. So gold's going up because of demand. It's called BRICS. It's called Poland and Hungary and all these other countries trying to get out of the dollar and into gold. And really, they don't tell anybody here. Oh, everybody's running into Bitcoin like a bunch of freaking idiots. I'll go into Bitcoin. It's not real. It has no value. When the dollar goes out, your Bitcoin will be worthless because Bitcoin is not real. And if I have gold though, and the dollar goes out, my gold goes up 10 times because now the demand runs into gold. Why gold? Why do everybody go to gold? It's always been money. It's never collapsed. Why is it money? That it's just the way we choose money is it's what we most want. So we've allowed this to be money because we need something to buy to get paid and buy groceries and bills and stuff. So it's a combination of things where this is used to buy things. So we've assigned the dollar as we'll use this as money. It's really just a trade source. It's a trade of we need to we need something to buy things with. How do we buy things, right? How do we go buy to the grocery? I just went to the grocery store. They got some stuff for Thanksgiving. How do we do that? How do we buy? Well, we need some medium of exchange. That's the whole key to the system. But you can't fuck the medium of exchange. These idiots keep printing it and printing it and printing it that it has no value. However, gold goes up because it's demanded. People like it. It's pretty. Like this is very pretty. But I know when I buy it, this is worth, let's say 10%. So 4,100 is worth $410, 450 roughly. But it won't go down, and as gold goes up, this will go up. So I know A, it's going to go up, but B, I know this has a big value, and there's no risk in the portfolio. So you're buying stuff, the gold, because It has value. Why? Because people value it. Why does Picasso have value? Because people like Picasso. There's enough demand that they like it that it'll hold value. Why do you buy a Rolex? It's very limited in supply. Gold and silver, same thing. But when the government and the banks get involved in pricing it as opposed to the market is the mess we have in COMEX. The government is trying to price fix it instead of the market. We're smart enough to know what a market is because we're Austrian economists. We know, wait a minute, this is bullshit. The market is not pricing gold and silver. The government is with these stupid options and derivatives that are bullshit. So we understand that. So we know it's got to be worth a lot more than this. That's why we buy the gold and silver now. We know the value is much, much higher for it. There's no way this is only 400. Gold's $4,000. So let's divide by 10. Let's say 4,100. I think it's like 450 or so. This is worth a hell of a lot more than that. Probably 10,000, right? Well, gold at 10,000 makes that 1,000. Yeah, so that's about right. Any gold. That's why I buy tenth of an ounce, quarter ounces. It doesn't matter. It's gold. As long as you have gold, it's going up. Your prices will go up. Like my coin guy goes, well, why are you buying the tenths and the quarters? It's not a good investment. I says, any gold's a good investment. I can't afford. At the time, gold was, let's say, 2,500. I says, I can't afford. I mean, I buy ounces, but I can't afford ounces all the time. But I want to get more gold. So the goal is to get a quarter ounce was $300 before. So I was buying a lot of quarter ounces. This was $200 for a tenth of an ounce. So I'm saying I want to accumulate gold. So it doesn't have to be an ounce. And I don't care that I'm paying a little bit more in commission for it, or premium as they call it. So the problem is when you have a problem, how do you answer the problem? And you answer the problem by asking an expert. Like if you don't know, you go to a doctor, a lawyer. You go to people who can hopefully explain it to you, which the lawyers can't and the doctors can't anymore, unless you go to our doctors, Sven and Barbara O'Neill. If those doctors you could go, they can explain it. If nobody can explain it, just walk away. They're idiots. They don't understand it. God, it's cold. So I must have got it at swimming the other day. So as long as you understand that, most of the country's pretty fucked because they have dollars. Who do they go to? Their financial planner who's clueless. Your financial planner is not going to help you solve the riddle of I should buy gold. He's only thinking of himself. He's only thinking attack on Wall Street. I'm going to put you in real estate trust or stocks. I'm going to put you in the stock market. Go buy Amazon. Go buy Microsoft. Oh, geez, you're a genius, right? So he's only going to put you in those, right? And therefore, when the market collapses, they're gonna be the first to collapse, right? Because they're way overvalued. He doesn't have the answer for you of you buy gold because the dollar's worthless. He's not going to give you that because he doesn't know. So you're asking the wrong person. You need to ask me. You need to find me and ask me. And that's the first stop. You need to find an Austrian economist. That should be on your Christmas list. Find me, Austrian economist. That's why I specify that on my YouTube and on my Twitter and everything, my LinkedIn, because that's the key is they're the ones who can explain what's really going on, and you can actually learn from them. And you're not going to go broke. You're actually going to be saved. When the dollar goes to zero and gold goes up, you're going to go, God, I'm so happy I bought gold and silver. That's the only one who's going to survive because all the other money is going to zero. So it's the key is we tend to ask the wrong person to get the answer we want to hear. Well, I asked my financial advisor. He says, stay in stocks. I'm happy. There's a guy at the club at Swim. I don't talk to him anymore. He's wearing one of these diabetes patches. So what are you doing? Well, this is for diabetes. It injects insulin into my system. Now, after listening to Sven, our doctor, we're like, no, you don't want to do that. I says, you just need to do some fasting and stay away from sugar. You don't want to do that, right? You don't want to, um, you don't want to have an insulin patch. All you need to do is stay away from carbs and sugars and high fructose corn syrup and just do some fasting and you'll be fine. Your body will heal. Your body heals everything. You break your leg, your body heals it, right? So I explained this to the guy and he doesn't listen. I come in about a week later, he's there, he's got the patch on. I go, why you still got the patch on? Well, I talked to my doctor and he said to leave it on. So again, he's going to the doctor who's going to tell him to leave it on because that's what the doctor does. He doesn't cure you. He's working for himself. He makes money if you keep buying these patches. But if you get off of it completely, he doesn't make any money. This whole medical thing's ridiculous. So you have the medical doctors who are just like the stockbrokers. Well, I'm only putting you in things I get commission on. So when you ask finance questions to a broker, he's putting you in stocks because that's where he makes commission. He will not put you in gold because he doesn't make it. And he probably doesn't know anything about it. And you're going to be caught in the dark when everything collapses. Well, why didn't you tell me to buy gold? Well, I didn't know. I thought the stocks were. I mean, we watch Attack on Wall Street. And the guy goes, "Why'd you put me in it?" He says, "I know. They told me it was a good investment. I fucked you, but too bad." And so that's the key. You have to find the person to do it. So if everybody goes to their financial advisor who's never going to tell you about gold because he's going to put you in that, you're fucked. Right? You're never gonna buy gold and silver because you're listening to the wrong person. Oh, but Howard, he's a financial advisor. I should listen to him, shouldn't I? No, because he's a salesman selling you stock because that's what is best for him to make his commission, not what's best for you. What's best for you is gold and silver because the dollar has no value and gold and silver is going up because BRICS is buying it. It goes up because of demand, not because the dollar is going down, as Alligator seems to think. Alligator's clueless. Oh, listen to Alligator. No, don't listen to Alligator. It is not the dollar going down, so gold goes up. It is gold going up based on demand from BRICS and the other countries who are buying gold. That's why it's going from 2,000 to 10,000. It's because of people buying it, because of demand. And that makes the price go up because there's low supply. And again, we got to get out of this paper pricing and into physical prices. When you see the physical prices, it's going to go up like 10 times. It'll go from like 5,000 to 10,000 because that's the real physical price. I mean, when we look at the chart, we see these drops and ups and on COMEX. What are the drops? The drops aren't real. Nobody's selling gold. You've got to be stupid. It's not consolidation. It's not profit taking. You do not profit take physical gold. I don't know if you profit take paper gold. I don't do it. I don't do derivatives and options. It's a good way to lose money. But that's the key to it is if the point of getting out of this to buy gold, why would I get out of the gold and go back into this if the whole object of the game is to get out of this? So it is a game, don't forget. You're getting off the Titanic to get in the lifeboat. You would never get out of the lifeboat to go back on the Titanic as it's sinking. You get out of the dollar into gold. There's no profit taking. There's no anything. It should just keep going higher and higher and higher. It's never overbought. That's the stupidest thing. That's a stock thing. When is gold a stock, Batman? I'm gonna play the Riddler here. When is gold a stock? It's never a stock. Gold is gold. It's money. Stocks are stocks. Is gold a stock? No. Then why would it act like a stock? Well, there's profit taking. It went up too high, too fast. No, because it's not anywhere near its real value. So that whole thing of it's going up too high is bullshit. It's so they can buy and sell their options. So that's what we have. Oh, I have this wonderful one on Vegas that I think I'll do. Let's check our goal just before. Ooh. 41.41 in the paper market, 41.45, I mean. It got up to 41.55, silver 51.33 on its way to 100. This is on its way to 5,000 to 10,000. This is basically on its way to 25,000, but we got to keep doing these stops. So why did gold go down to 41.10 just before 10 o'clock? Why? It went down $38. Oh, are people selling? No, it's bullshit. Then what happens? Then it goes back from 41.15 to 41.55. So wait, you're telling me it went down $40 and then went up $40? Does that make any sense? Now it's going down for no reason. So these idiots are playing option, making $5 on its volatility, but not realizing that you got to take delivery of it. You have to buy it. You can't sell it only. So the like this at now, what's happening is they're selling it, they're shorting it. Are you out of your mind? The demand on gold's huge and you're selling? You think the price is going down? Are you out of your fucking minds? Oh, I love to talk to these idiots. Oh my God. These are the same idiots that bet football, take, Oakland or Cleveland or something. All right. So let's go to this was about Macau and Vegas. This really, really ties it up. Okay, it's titled How Macau Crushed Vegas Gambling. We'll just do like maybe 10 minutes of it. It's a very good video.
Prostate exams are outdated, and here's why nobody talks about it. Do this tonight before going to bed and see was that it made you feel like a winner even when you were losing. Macau just made $28 billion from gambling in a single year. Vegas made less than $9 billion on the strip. That's not a competition. That's a massacre. And the worst part? Vegas did this to itself. Let me paint you a picture with cold, hard cash. 2024. Macau pulled in $28.3 billion in gambling revenue for the year. The Las Vegas Strip, $8.8 billion. That's more than triple. Triple. Macau made in 1 year what would take Vegas 3 years to match. And this isn't some fluke. This isn't a bad year for Vegas or a lucky streak for Macau. This is the new reality. The entire state of Nevada, including all of Vegas, Reno, and every other casino, made $15.6 billion. Macau alone crushed that number by almost double. You're probably thinking, well, Macau's got all those Chinese high rollers. Yeah, they do. But here's what nobody wants to admit. Vegas had them too. Had them. Past tense. Because somewhere along the way, Vegas decided it didn't want to be a casino anymore. It wanted to be Disneyland with slot machines. And Macau? Macau looked at that decision and said, thank you. Then took every serious gambler on the planet. And if you want proof of how Macau is playing a completely different game, just look at what they're doing with their properties. The Londoner Macau just spent $1.2 billion on a massive Phase 2 redesign. $1.2 billion. And you know what happened? Casino revenue exploded by 55% year over year. The property's total revenue jumped from $444 million to $642 million in a single quarter, not from adding a Ferris wheel, not from booking Katy Perry, not from installing a 300-foot LED sphere that costs more to operate than a small country's defense budget. They renovated their gaming floors. They expanded their premium suites from 4,000 rooms down to 2,400 luxury accommodations targeting high-value players. They made it easier for high rollers to get in, sit down, and lose millions of dollars in comfort and privacy. That's it. That's the whole strategy, and it worked spectacularly. Meanwhile, Vegas is charging you $45 for parking, $30 for a beer, and $200 for a show ticket, all while the actual casino floor shrinks year after year to make room for another nightclub or restaurant that serves $20 French fries on a wooden board. You see the difference? Macau respects what a casino is supposed to be. Vegas forgot. But the divergence goes even deeper than just investment priorities. There's a fundamental philosophical difference in how these two gambling capitals approach the entire business. Here's where it gets interesting. And by interesting, I mean infuriating. Macau generates about 84% of its gambling revenue from baccarat. 84%. And the split between VIP and mass market has completely transformed. Mass market baccarat now dominates at nearly 60% of total gaming revenue, while VIP baccarat represents about 27%. Vegas, slot machines. Rows and rows of slot machines, flashing lights, beeping sounds, digital screens showing cartoon characters spinning fruit. The house edge on those machines is typically 5 to 15%. On baccarat, it's around 1.06%. Let me translate that for you. Macau makes more money by giving gamblers better odds. Vegas makes less money by treating everyone like a tourist with an ATM card and a dream. The gambling purist mentality versus the entertainment complex mentality. One works, one doesn't. The numbers are screaming which is which. And here's the kicker. Vegas gets about 7 million more visitors annually than Macau. 7 million more people walking through those doors. And they still get destroyed on gambling revenue. Why? Because Macau visitors come to gamble. They fly halfway around the world, check into a hotel, and head straight to the tables. They're not there for Cirque du Soleil or the fountains of Bellagio, or to take selfies with an Instagram influencer dressed as Elvis. They're there to play, to win, to lose, to feel alive in the way only real gambling can make you feel. Vegas visitors? They're there for a bachelorette party, a corporate convention, a pool party that costs $2,000 for a cabana that used to be free. The casino is an afterthought, a place you wander into after dinner because you're already there. So when did this transformation happen?
I've slept with many men in my life, and I always use this trick on them to make them fully firm. I'm talking about...
When did this transformation happen? You want to know when it all went wrong? I can tell you the exact moment. It was when Vegas decided gaming was a dirty word. When they stopped calling it gambling and started calling it entertainment. When the marketing departments took over from the casino operators. When Wall Street analysts started asking about revenue diversification instead of table hold percentage. The old Vegas knew what it was. It was a place where you could lose your rent money on a single hand of blackjack. Where the drinks were free, as long as you were playing. Where the dealers knew your name, and the pit boss would comp your room if you were betting big enough. It wasn't safe. It wasn't family friendly. It wasn't designed to appeal to everyone. And that's exactly why it worked. The new Vegas wants to be everything to everyone. Fine dining, world-class entertainment, luxury shopping, pool parties, nightclubs, art installations. And oh yeah, there's some gambling too, if you're into that sort of thing. Macau looked at all that and said, we'll just focus on the gambling part. Guess who won? And nowhere is this more evident than in how both cities handle their highest value customers. Let me tell you about the evolution of gaming in Macau, because this is where the story gets really interesting. The VIP Baccarat segment used to be the king. Back in 2013, VIP gaming accounted for almost 65% of all revenue. Those private game ones, separate entrances, private elevators, staff that knows your preferences before you arrive, tables with minimums that start at $10,000 per hand. But here's what changed. After the government crackdown on junket operators and money laundering, VIP gaming collapsed. It now represents only about 25 to 27% of total revenue. You'd think that would kill Macau, right? Wrong. Mass market gaming exploded to fill the gap. Regular players, better odds, lower house advantage, more volume. And Macau's total revenue still crushes Vegas because they kept the focus on actual gambling. Vegas has built an infrastructure around getting everyone through the door and extracting as much money as possible from every square foot of casino floor. Slot machines pay better rent than table games. Nightclubs generate more profit per square foot than poker rooms. So guess what gets priority? Meanwhile, even with the VIP market declining, Macau's mass market alone generates more gambling revenue than the entire Las Vegas Strip, because they never lost sight of what a casino is supposed to be. And speaking of staying focused on what matters, let's talk about Baccarat for a minute, because this is the game that built Macau and the game Vegas never figured out. In Macau, Baccarat isn't just popular, it's religion. Walk into any casino and the Baccarat pit is the centerpiece. The tables are full. The action is fast. The bets are enormous. A single hand can move $1 million. In Vegas, Baccarat is treated like that weird uncle nobody wants to talk to. They've got a few tables tucked away in a corner. The minimums are lower. The action is slower. Half the dealers barely know how to shuffle properly because they deal blackjack 90% of the time. Asian gamblers love Baccarat because it's fast, simple, and offers some of the best odds in the casino. It's a game of pure chance with minimal house edge. You're playing against the casino, not against other players. The social dynamics are different. The superstitions matter. The rituals are important. Vegas tried to force Asian gamblers into games they didn't care about. Tried to make them play craps. Tried to push them towards slots. Tried to convince them that blackjack was just as good. Macau said, "We'll give you all the baccarat you want." And that was the ball game. But beyond just ignoring what gamblers actually want, Vegas made another critical error that sealed their fate. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, the one that cost Vegas its crown, the diversification strategy. Some genius in a boardroom decided that casinos shouldn't depend on gambling revenue. Too volatile, too unpredictable, too dependent on consumer confidence and economic cycles. Better to diversify, build revenue streams from restaurants, clubs, shows, retail, conventions. Sounds smart, right? Spread the risk. Multiple profit centers. If gambling slows down, you've got other income. Except it killed the soul of Vegas and the profits. The Sphere cost $2.3 billion to build. It's a technological marvel, an architectural achievement.
People can't believe this engraving pen works on glass, metal, leather, wood, even stone, but the results are insane.
Architectural achievement. A stunning example of what human engineering can accomplish. And while it has generated significant publicity and tourism interest, the question remains whether ticket sales alone can justify such an enormous investment. Industry experts have noted that achieving profitability requires high occupancy and a rich volume of events. The nightclubs, they're profitable, but they've turned Vegas into Ibiza with better parking. You've got 21-year-olds in designer outfits waiting in line for 2 hours to pay a $50 cover and $100 for a vodka cranberry. They're not gambling, they're Instagramming. The celebrity chef restaurants, great food, terrible business model. Most of them lose money for the casino. They exist as amenities to justify the resort fees and keep you on property. But they're not paying the bills. The shows? Pre-2019 pandemic, Vegas had dozens of shows running nightly. Some were profitable. Most broke even. Several lost money. But they were supposed to bring people in who would then gamble. Except people started coming just for the shows. They'd catch Cirque, have dinner, and go to bed. No casino time. No table games. No slots. Macau looked at all this and said, that seems complicated. Then built bigger casinos with more tables and better odds. Simple.
Okay, so to sum that up, Vegas lost the market because they didn't know what the market was. If I'm selling Canadian Club, I'm going to sell Canadian Club. Do I have a market for it? Yes, people want it. Okay, I'll keep making it. But I can't, let's sell Canadian Club cups and Canadian Cup hats and Canadian Club shirts. No, I want the whiskey. And as he just said, that they're trying to do the shows and the other stuff, not the gambling. And it's better productivity-wise to do slot machines than have games. Let's get rid of the sports book for another bar, another what do they call it? Clubs. But those people don't gamble. The money's made in the gambling. I'll blow $2,000 playing blackjack and craps, but I'm not going to blow it at the clubs or at the pool. And so you're bringing in the wrong people to Vegas, as he said. You're not bringing in the gamblers. You're not bringing in the guys who want to bet football and the guys who want to play poker and the guys who play baccarat and blackjack and roulette. Then you're screwing the odds over and you're having all these other expenses and you're calling them profits. Well, we'll make money on the parking and on the resort fee. Yeah, but those, you're driving out the gambler because he doesn't want to, he's not into that. He doesn't want to pay for that. And you're bringing in who? You're bringing in, well, right now you're bringing in nobody. Oh, you had a Formula One race or whatever. Did that bring anybody in? I don't know. If you want to watch you wouldn't bring me in. I don't care about racing. I care about poker and I care about football betting and a little bit of baccarat and red and black on roulette. But I could give a shit about all these nightclubs and all these bars and all these I don't care about the resort fees and pay for parking. That all that does is drive away the gambler, because the gambler wants cheap meals and he wants to gamble. He wants to play table games. You don't want to play slot machines. So you have this bad thing with these slot machines, thinking that they're like, well, we'll make money on that. Well, but that's not your market. I want to go play poker and bet football. Well, that's where I can do it. But if you don't allow me to do that, or you're making it so expensive for me to do it, I won't go to Vegas to do it. Well, you can gamble online. Well, that's not the same. I want a dealer. I want a real person who's a dealer. I want I don't want AI. I don't want everything to be cheap. I don't want to pay for parking. So what the market is, there's nobody there. What you're marketing to doesn't exist. You've got your accountants who don't understand anything about what they're doing. So this is the problem. It's like, hey, let's come up with an electric car. Well, nobody wants one. Oh, well, we'll build it and we'll do it. And it's very expensive. And there's charging stations and it keeps catching on fire. Yeah, I don't want to deal with that. I just want to go to the gas station, put gas in my car, and off I go. Oh, but it'll be bad for the environment. Oh, that's bullshit. We're doing fine now. We're not all dying because we're breathing air in. We're dying more from the food that they're injecting. So Macau said, hey, we'll just give you gambling. You come, there's no parking, there's no resort fee, there's plenty of table games. We want the guy who wants to gamble to come here. We'll comp you, we'll do this and that. So all the whales are going to Macau. Me and you, we just find a place to bet football and play poker, and that's it. We just don't go to Vegas. So this is a real problem. Your Vegas has missed the point. They think, well, we'll just where can we make money? We'll make money parking, but it's going to piss people off. People don't want to come and pay for parking. People don't want to come and pay for resort fees. All these other fees, all you do is drive people away, and then it ends up where nobody's parking there, nobody's paying, nobody's staying there, so there's no resort fee. Before you know it, you have nothing. And that's really the problem. And that's what Macau took advantage of. They said, oh, it's like, well, people like Canadian Club. Well, we won't sell Canadian Club anymore. We're going to charge for parking. And we're going to have, if you come in this store, we're going to charge you. But we won't, well, instead of Canadian Club, we'll have, a cheaper that we'll make more money on. And Macau saying, hey, well, you want Canadian Club? We'll sell Canadian Club. You want to bet football? We'll have it. You want to play poker? We'll have poker rooms. And that's the difference. These people are clueless. In Vegas, they're looking at these finance people that are doing the spreadsheets or whatever you want to call it are clueless. They're looking at what makes, thing, but they're not getting the reason, right? They miss the point. As I do in football, I deep dive and I say, well, the Bears really 8-3. Well, they haven't played anybody. So they're really might be the record's 8-3, but they haven't played anybody. And then we see the Lions losing to the Giants and these bad teams and losing to the other teams, and we say they're not very good because we deep dived it. We didn't just look at the record; we looked at who did they play, and that's the whole key here. It's who did they play, and they just they're just not getting it, and that's the problem with Vegas. They're missing the whole boat. They're trying to get people in and then charge them all these bullshit. Oh, let's pay $50 for a hamburger and parking and resort fees. Who wants that? I'm not going to pay for my parking at a hotel. I went up north to Lake Michigan. I didn't pay for parking there. If I did, I wouldn't stay there. I would find another hotel and stay at that. So they think they can charge whatever and people will sit there. You can't. That's what a market is. This is how much you can charge. And if you're charging this, people aren't going to go. So in Vegas, I can charge this month, whatever this is. And then I'm going to charge my total cost is going to be here with all the bullshit fees. Well, there's nobody there because nobody's going to pay for it. There is no market for what you're doing. And that's why Vegas is collapsing. There's no market for what they're doing. And Macau has said, hey, we see what the market is and we're doing what we can do. And that's the key to it. So they're winning and Vegas is losing and Vegas will go broke. Vegas is in the middle. He says that Vegas won't go back to what they're doing because they don't see the value in going back. So it's just going to stay until they go broke. Now, I thought that China was behind it to bankrupt them to buy it cheap is still there. That's probably one of the issues. But obviously, whoever's running Vegas has their head way up their ass. They don't get it, and they'll bankrupt it. And the people that are agreeing with this idiot are even stupider to agree with it. Sort of like Chip Kelly, right? Well, let's fire Chip. Well, it ain't his fault. And Vegas doesn't have an offensive line. And if you don't understand that, it doesn't matter God could be your offensive coordinator. You still don't have an offensive line. Anyway, I think that's about it. So I gave you a free play. Go over Texas Tech, and I will start researching the pros. I got to update my teaser trends and then spit them out and update my charts. But most of the teams after week 12, so really 11 weeks, are pretty much who they are, right? We understand that. So there's not a lot of change that happens now, but we do like to go last 5 or 6 to get the true numbers of the team. Are they really a 20 defense or are they a 25? Like Texas, I looked at last week, went from an 18 defense to a 25 because I used the last 5 games. And I didn't use the game against the high school team and the Z team. and all that when they're letting up 17 a game. And now I'm like, yeah, they're a 30 defense. And then that gives us Vegas and a 51 in that game is a joke because that game's going to be 80 points. So that's your free play. Anyway, I got to look at the pros to try to get that. There should be a lot of college games that I keep finding. We'll see about locking them. I got to see who needs what. So it's a little bit constrained because we've got the games Thursday, but while I'm watching the games Thursday, we will be able to better look at uh, what's going on there. So anyway, because usually I got till Friday to put the Saturday college and the Sunday pros. There's one game Thursday. Now I got 3 games, and it's a holiday, so I got to get that. So I'll be busy. Today's Tuesday, so I'll be busy today. At least focusing on the Thursday games, and then also I should be able to focus on the Sunday in college. I got not the 2 back games today. I don't care about the Thursday game, but Friday there's a lot of games, so I'll be studying that. So we will see, but we'll get you a boatload of winners like I do every week. All right, let's go into check our gold out. All right, as I leave you, gold, as you can see, went down 147. Yeah, that's right on. So gold 41.39, going down for absolutely no reason. And silver 51.25 again should be 55 by now on its way to 100, going down for exactly no reason. But again, this 10 o'clock drop is just it's so stupid. It goes down at 9:30, and then by 10 o'clock, when the U.S. starts buying, they can buy at 41.18. So whenever you see this drop at about 9:30, this is going to it's going to go up a little after 10ish, as they're trying to buy it cheaper. It's such a ridiculous game. This is such bullshit. This paper shit. Very, very unsettling that this is actually going on in the market right now. Because this should not be going on in the market. This is just ridiculous. But since the banks run the government and the mafia runs the banks, who's going to tell them not to? Our only answer, the Chinese, the Russians, and BRICS are going to clean that out when they run out of gold. Because right now they're able to get it at this cheap price and then take delivery. But once that delivery's gone, there is no more gold there to buy cheap. They will end COMEX. So it's ending soon. And the U.S. keeps bringing in silver to sell in COMEX. Basically, that's what they're doing. And I guess some gold. But it's drying up pretty fast. This won't go much longer. I know they keep pushing, well, in 2026, this is the end of the world. Well, or 2027. Be careful of those headlines and that, because it's just bullshit. All right, I'm going to leave you. Have a wonderful day. Again, buy your gold and silver. There's no risk in the portfolio. You can't lose. It's if you hold the dollars or you hold your 401k, it will go to zero. That is a guarantee. It isn't maybe. It isn't, well, the government will save it. The government can't save it. They're the ones printing the money. And what's killed it is the petrodollar is gone and the FX is gone. So as these countries trade with themselves and the petrodollar takes dollars from anybody, all those dollars come back, makes it even worth even less. So really the dollars have no value. Understand that now from an Austrian who's telling you what's going on, and I have no skin in the game. I'm just trying to help you. So I'm not selling you commission. I don't get commission on gold and silver. I'm just helping you. I'm your teacher. So it should be a no-brainer. Don't worry about paying taxes. I got this one guy who's so worried about paying taxes. Jesus Christ. First of all, I wouldn't sell all my gold and put it in the bank and buy a house. Just wait. You'll buy a house with the ounce of gold, 2 ounces. This could buy me a house. It's a tenth of an ounce of gold worth currently $450. How's that? How's that going to buy you a house? Because the dollar won't buy you a house, and the values of the houses will go down because they're all priced in dollars. Anything priced in dollars go to zero. This is the only thing that won't. Add silver. So if you're in Bitcoin, you're in big trouble because it's going to collapse. It was 85,000 the other day. So we'll see how far that goes, but it's probably going all the way down because people need money. They sell their assets. And all these idiots in Bitcoin will be selling, in stocks, selling. It will go from there. Anyway, have a good day. www.teaserking.com. Free play right now. Texas A&M over 51 down to 45. I already have locked it, and I will be making all the picks will be in tomorrow. So I know the weekly guys, you probably want to give me the money Wednesday because I will have a 3 plays Thursday and all the college plays Friday. I want to make sure you get those. So anyway, happy Thanksgiving. I'll be on tomorrow. I don't know about Thursday. I probably might be on a little bit. The pool's open until 12:30 or 1:30. I think 1:30 at Thanksgiving. I don't know if I'll go maybe just for a hot tub to clean me up here. But I think I'll get on my feet soon. All right. Have a good day. Take care. Buy your gold, buy your silver. Just relax. That's all to do. All right. Take care, everybody. www.teaserking.com.